Anna, we've got a question for you from Twitter from Mark, who says, why would the DNC cancel all primary debates, effectively silencing opposition voices like Robert Kennedy Jr. or Gavin Newsom or whoever may enter the field? Can't he debate anymore? What do you think of that and primary challenges to President Biden?
I think that's a great question, and we can, of course, speculate as to why they're doing it. And, you can also look at recent history as context to explain what's going on today. I don't think the DNC really wants to have a democratic process in place and allow for Democratic voters to make a decision about who they favor during the Democratic primaries. And so they prop up their preferred candidate. In this case, it's, of course, the incumbent, Joe Biden. And I think they're playing with fire, to say the least. Joe Biden is a liability to the Democratic Party as we speak. When you consider some of the policies that he's been implementing behind the scenes, when you consider what's currently transpiring in these blue cities that have much of Joe Biden's base within them protesting right now over the migrant crisis and the lack of resources to these cities that are necessary in order to deal with the migrant crisis. I mean, Biden just thinks that, he can have the DNC protect him. He can stay away from any type of public appearance that might make him look bad. And as long as he's got that DNC, Democrat establishment apparatus propping him up, everything is going to be fine. But right now, if it ends up being between Biden and Donald Trump, he's got to keep in mind, Donald Trump does not have the stink of coronavirus following him around. Sure, there are a bunch of investigations taking place, prosecutions, possible convictions. And I think Democrats think, oh, this is great. This is a perfect situation. Let's prop up Trump. Let's prop up Biden. And it'll just be a repeat of 2020. I do think they're playing with fire. If you ask ordinary Americans whether their lives have changed in any material way from the Trump administration to the Biden administration, I guarantee you the vast majority of those individuals will say no. Their material conditions have not improved. In fact, they have continued to devolve and get worse, especially with higher interest rates. The Federal Reserve openly talking about how we need to increase unemployment in order to tamp down inflation. I mean, it is disaster upon disaster. And I just think that the DNC, in an effort to protect Biden and increase his chances of winning, is essentially squashing any potential Democratic opposition during the primaries.
All right, let's talk. Oh, sorry.
Mimi, I'm sorry. I got to jump in on that. So I'll tell you right now, I guarantee it, there will be a very vigorous primary against Joe Biden. And the Democratic Party leadership doesn't care about the Democratic Party voters. They just care about protecting their own power. Biden is sitting at 36%. That is a disaster. If an incumbent is under 50%, they're likely to lose. Under 40%, it's unheard of for them to win. Unheard of. The Democratic Party wants to walk us into this defeat. We're not going to let them. There will be a very vigorous primary, and the reason they don't want debates is because everyone knows that if Biden goes up against a strong progressive in a debate, he will melt. No one thinks he can handle it. And if you think he can't handle a progressive, you're going to send him against Trump. You're going to send him against DeSantis. You're going to send a guy who, by the way, when he beat Trump, was at around 50%. Now he's 15 points lower. You're going to take an incumbent who is deeply unpopular, who's afraid to debate anyone, and you're going to send him to fight Republicans? That guy loves Republicans. He does. Every time he goes out, he's like, oh, I want the Republican Party to be stronger. My friends in the Republican Party. That's not the guy who wants to fight Republicans. Send us in. We'll do the job.